Good morning and welcome to this SpagoBI 4.0 webinar. I will introduce you to the new functionalities included in the SpagoBI 4.0 version that have been released in the month of July. I invite everyone to attend the presentation, and if they have if they have questions during the presentation, I invite everyone to use the chat in order to post the questions, and I will answer to them at the end of the presentation. If anyone has problems looking at the presentation or listening to the speech, I invite you to use the chat for signaling these eventual problems. So, before coming to the special content concerning the 4.0 version, I consider important to contextualize what is the SpagoBI product. The SpagoBI product is a complete open source business intelligence suite which is edited and supported by the specific SpagoBI Competency Center, which acts in the context of engineering group, which is an industrial systems integrator company based in Italy. And all the code of the SpagoBI project is hosted and managed by the OW2 Consortium, which is a non-profit organization that also provides with all the tools for the SpagoBI community. The suite answers the main requirements of typical business intelligence product in terms of functionalities such as reporting, multidimensional analysis, dashboards, and so on, and also adding some unique solutions as, for example, the location intelligence management, support for real-time BI and for mobile BI, in the aim to use the open source mainly as an innovative tool. It's important to underline that SpagoBI is delivered 100% free and open source, in the sense that you can download and freely use and distribute the SpagoBI product. You can access to services provided by the SpagoBI vendor and by the SpagoBI partners, but the services are totally independent and separated from the right to use the software, in such a way that all functionalities can be used independently of the time you are using the services. So this is a pay-as-you-go service model, in the sense that you access to professional services when you need and as long as you need. SpagoBI has a long history. We are talking today in this webinar mainly of SpagoBI 4.0, but there is a long history starting in 2005 as far as SpagoBI is concerned, and so the product has evolved during the time and applied in different projects. Typically, we release a major version of SpagoBI each 2 years. So in 2009 we released SpagoBI 2.0, SpagoBI 3.0 in 2011, and SpagoBI 4.0 in 2013. So this means that this is the first release of the SpagoBI 4 family, which will evolve during the next 2 years. And all the SpagoBI community is solicited and invited to contribute to this evolution with ideas, code, and projects. The suite is composed of different modules or components in order to manage the complete life cycle of a BI product. The server, where all the functionalities are included, the studio and meta for data managers and business intelligence developers, the SDK in order to manage the communication between the different modules, and the applications. In the server, there is all the analytical power of SpagoBI in terms of analytical engines that solve the different BI requirements, behavioral model that allows to distribute the correct documents and data to the right users according to the user roles, and all the management of data and metadata in order to access in different way all the data sources. And a set of administrative tools and the cross-platform functionalities complement the product independently of the tool which is being used. The SpagoBI server includes all the SpagoBI functionality. It is delivered as a set of web applications, so it does only require a browser in order to access to the functionalities. And in the server we can find all the reporting, dashboards, multidimensional analysis, charts, and so on. In the studio and meta, we find the environment where the solution becomes concrete, in the sense that data managers and BI developers have the tools in order to build the analytical documents and then to deploy them in the server in order for all the users to access and use the documents. This is an application which is based on the Eclipse IDE, so a well-known and used integration development environment. Then the SDK allows the different components of SpagoBI to communicate one each other, and also it allows external applications to communicate with the SpagoBI server functionalities using APIs and web services. And finally, the applications are vertical analytical models ready to use, so they are not actually code, but mainly data models and predefined reports that you can use in order to build vertical application, so to contextualize the use of SpagoBI in specific sectors from a technological or a business point of view. Some example of SpagoBI documents that you can build includes charts, OLAP analysis, reporting, and also KPIs, geographical analysis, both using static maps in SVG format or accessing to geographical environments using geographical standards, and also some more free tools that gives the users the freedom to build their own query, to build their own analysis, and to use also SpagoBI in context of real-time using dynamic dashboards and the real-time console. So all in all, this is all what SpagoBI provides you in all the different releases that follow one each other during time. Now with 4.0, what SpagoBI provides is a new BI experience in terms especially of usability and appeal of the user interface and the user interaction, and improvements in the existing functionalities, mainly for better support of mobile BI and enterprise BI, and also addressing hot topics such as self-service BI, big data, and in-memory. Let me switch very quickly to a quick demonstration of what I am saying. As you can see here, we have the new user interface of SpagoBI, which have been improved and changed to follow new paradigms. So you can see that you have at your disposal the different functionalities that you can organize as menus, or that you can navigate through a classical browser paradigm, moving into the different folders where you can organize your analytical documents. You can manage your favorites, and you can create also new documents, starting from existing datasets or existing data models, and even starting from personal data that you can take from your personal device. Some change we can also notice in the execution of the documents. So if we take, for example, a parametric report, you can see that we are now moving the parameters on the right side of the document in such a way to be able to manage as much as possible all the screen size. And then you can, of course, select parameters and execute the document in order to refresh the result according to the specific values of the parameter that I have chosen. And then you have always some cross functionalities that are available, as the possibility to print, export the document in different formats, say by email, share in personal folders, and so on. You can access to metadata concerning the document, add notes to the document, and so on. Okay. I will come back to the demo in order to show you some other aspects of the usage of the new paradigm of interaction with SpagoBI. Now, let's go through some specific content of SpagoBI 4.0. We have improved the support for the mobile usage of SpagoBI. In SpagoBI, mobile is essentially a possibility for users to access to business intelligence content using mobile devices, mainly tablet and smartphones. But we do not implement a specific app for a specific device, but more a generic application that can run on different devices and that is not tied to a specific operating system or a specific device, leveraging as much as possible standards as HTML5 and CSS3. The application, the SpagoBI mobile application, is installed on a server, so your mobile device must be able to connect to the SpagoBI server in order to take the benefit from the server of all what is security management, visibility on data, document execution, and so on. I have a very quick demonstration of this, which is in this context, it is somehow simulated into a browser, but this is exactly the same behavior that you find if you access using a mobile device. So we manage authentication. When the user connects, it has access just to the set of documents that have been specifically built for the mobile device, that makes sense for a mobile device. So for example, you can access to simple content as, for example, a chart that contains some dynamic aspects so that you can focus on specific items, or you can come back and access to more sophisticated document as, for example, a dashboard that allows you to interact with it. Of course, using the mobile device, all these operations are performed using your fingers, so tapping on the device instead of using the mouse. And you also can have access to interactive documents where, for example, I can change here the month for my analysis. Here we have the data for January. I can click on April, for example, and refresh the document in order to focus on data in the month of April. And again, I can perform different navigation inside my data. Okay, so this is mainly the new behavior and the new look and feel of the mobile application of SpagoBI. Now, let's come back to the other news of SpagoBI 4.0. And another important topic is SelfService BI. Mainly in SpagoBI, we are managing data that are consolidated in some data warehouses or in some data marts or in general in data sources. Typically, all these data sources contains data that have been consolidated by the company, but we have contexts where the users want to analyze some data on the fly, some data that are personal data that they cannot, they do not want to share immediately with other users, but start analyzing in some way. And this is what SelfService BI is mainly concerned. And so we have developed in the new version of SpagoBI the concept of a SelfService BI, where the user can get data, so they have a wizard in order to choose the right data and load the data into in the SpagoBI application, and then manage this data once the format has been recognized in order to build new documents, mainly worksheets, just as it is possible to do with all other data sources. I have a little explanation of this through the demo. If I come back here to the demo, I can go here in the icon representing my data. You can see that I can have existing data set or build a new one. In order to build a new one, I add a new data set. I give it a name and maybe a description. Okay. And then I can select the category as, for example, self-service dataset. Okay. And then I go and take a specific file. So in my example, I have a CSV files which contains some regional indicator. Okay. And now it is a CSV. Okay, now I hope not to make a mistake with the delimiter. Okay, and I upload the file. Okay. Okay. Then once the file has been uploaded, all the columns are managed, and finally I have my new dataset. I can click on it, and now I can start building, for example, a simple report using the attributes that have been loaded into the SpagoBI server, reading my personal file. So, for example, I can create a pivot table taking some fields, as, for example, the number of employees as a measure, and the territory, for example, as a column. Okay. So these are analysis that I can build on my personal data. Okay. Maybe it's more interesting to add something like a chart. Okay. So in this case, I can add a bar chart, horizontal maybe, with values and legend. And again, I can put territory as a category and number of employees as a series. And then I come back into the preview in order to show the second sheet, which contains a bar chart, which is more readable and more effective as a presentation. And here I am managing my own data. Of course, the same document I can build using datasets that come from classical data sources in my data warehouses, my data marts, my relational databases, and so on. Okay, and finally, let me come back to other hot topics in SpagoBI 4.0, which is big data. Big data is important for business intelligence, mainly in order to provide some sources of data that need to be where we need to extract information and extract value. So it's important for a business intelligence platform to be able to manage big data, but especially to provide with the right tools in order to manage them and to extract information from big data. So in our vision of big data into SpagoBI 4.0, we have the concept of the dataset, which is the central concept in SpagoBI 4.0. A dataset is a generic object that can be populated with different data coming from classical data sources and also from new sources such as NoSQL databases, vertical or columnar databases, or all the tools in the Hadoop family. And all these datasets need to be managed effectively in terms of tools for a right presentation. So, for example, new tools allowing to represent relationships in a network of concepts or tree maps and so on, but also to be managed efficiently with a care to performance aspects, for example. And this is why we introduced in SpagoBI 4.0 the concept of scheduling the execution of a dataset and to making the dataset persistent when needed in such a way that we are not constraint to execute each time the query, but we manage a cached data both in database tables and in the evolution of SpagoBI also in memory. This is some examples of new tools for visualization of information that typically comes with big data. So, for example, relationships between concepts that allow you to represent using a relation network or a tree map, for example. And you can also use all the tools that are already present as the charts, the geographical documents, and so on. Okay, so I have concluded with my introduction to SpagoBI and to the new functionalities that are included in SpagoBI 4.0. I repeat that 4.0 is the first version of the SpagoBI 4 family, which will evolve during the next month, and it will accept, of course, ideas, contributions, both in terms of code and project, where to make the synergy between the SpagoBI roadmap, which is oriented to management of big data and in memory, and the requirements coming from your project. I have already some questions that have been posed by the participants during the webinar, so I will go answering this question, and if new questions arise, I will answer them by the way. First question is, what is the difference between SpagoBI Studio and SpagoBI Meta? Okay, SpagoBI Studio and SpagoBI Meta, the difference is that SpagoBI Meta purpose is mainly to build a business model starting from the physical model of a database. You are familiar maybe with the concept of universe, which have been proposed by business objects. The concept of a business model in SpagoBI is similar to the concept of a universe. That is an abstraction of physical data that you can use in order to build reports on this abstraction. And in this abstraction, you can rename tables, rename attributes, build new entities as a selection of some attributes in the tables, or add new relationship, and so on. SpagoBI Studio purpose is mainly to build the documents that will be deployed in the SpagoBI server. The two components may run in the same Eclipse application. So you can have SpagoBI Studio and SpagoBI Meta installed as a unique Eclipse application anyway. Then, question about the browser. I have shown the example using Mozilla Firefox. The SpagoBI user interface is compliant also with Google Chrome and Internet Explorer. We make usage of HTML and JavaScript. The dynamic component of the user interface is based on JavaScript, and specifically we are using the XJS framework in order to manage the JavaScript functionalities. Third question is, how we can deploy the created documents in mobile BI, whether we have to install software for mobile BI. Okay, this is a good question. In fact, the documents that are accessed using the mobile device are located just in the same repository as all the other SpagoBI documents. So you develop the documents for the mobile BI, you store them using the SpagoBI administration tools in the SpagoBI repository, and then you have a specific URL that you use on your mobile device in order to access this application. And it is always the SpagoBI server which manages the access and the render and the restitution of data to the mobile device, which will manage just the rendering. So in fact, what you are using in your mobile device is a browser. And for iPad, for the iOS on iPad, we developed a specific mechanism in order to install the first time you access from your tablet to the SpagoBI mobile server. We install a shortcut in the tablet desktop that allows you to directly access the SpagoBI server the second time and and for the rest of the interaction using a browser which is masked as an app. So you do not have all the typical menus of a browser and so on, but you look just at the content information. Okay, how to use SpagoBI with UTF-8 characters. Okay, this I have to check, but typically there is management for multi-language and multiple character formats. Also, it's important to verify the character set which is supported by your database. Anyway, all these aspects are managed in the domain configuration parameters of SpagoBI, which is managed again using the browser when you connect to SpagoBI using your administration login. What type of shortcut, whether it is available in internet? I don't understand this question. Maybe it is related for the mobile BI. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, for the mobile, yes, what I was saying, probably you are referring to this mechanism for the iPad, which is in fact we create the first time you connect, we create an icon on your desktop, which is just a shortcut to launch the next time the browser without all the menus and the typical objects that you find in your browser when you launch the browser itself. So it takes the parameters for accessing the server and so on. Another question is, what is Spagic and Spago4Q and what functionality these tools give? Okay, Spagic is another open source product managed by engineering, which is concerned to the application integration using service-oriented architectures and OSGI platforms. So it is another subject. Spago4Q, by the way, is a verticalization of SpagoBI. So it's a kind of vertical model, an application that is focused on managing the indicators for software quality. So there have been defined some standard models and some standard way to populate the models from tools that typically you can use in your software management processes. Other question is whether we test with really big data over 1 million records, what the speed of analyze and visualize the data, any memory problem. Okay, this is a very complex topic that involves, of course, different aspects. We test SpagoBI with also with big data warehouses managed by different tools, not necessarily new technology tools based on columnar database, but also, for example, Oracle database with partitioning and so on. Of course, the speed, the performance depends on different aspects, which are not only, of course, hardware related, but also the way that data are aggregated, the quality of the underlying data model, and so on. Of course, this is an important topic when we are going to analyze big data, and this is the reason why we are looking to caching data, making the persistent data set, and so on. Okay, another question is with the compatibility between SpagoBI and Java 7. Right now, SpagoBI is compatible with JDK 1.6. We are working on the compatibility with JDK 1.7, so we will certify SpagoBI with 1.7 as soon as possible, and you will be advised when it will be compliant with JDK 1.7. Another question is whether Microsoft Active Directory is able to configure in SpagoBI LDAP configuration. The answer is yes. We have integration of SpagoBI with Microsoft Active Directory. Consider that we manage the association between SpagoBI functionalities and roles inside SpagoBI, but we can take the list of users and the list of roles from external repositories, for example, from LDAP directory server. Okay, another question, whether we have best practice guides as for the application server setup, creation of template, and so on. Yes, okay, this is, I can generalize this question talking in general of resources that you can access in order to use SpagoBI in the best way. You have the standard documentation, which is available in the wiki of SpagoBI. You have some community tools that you can use as the forums, the mailing list, in order to share your question and answer with all the community. You have a SpagoBI book that you can buy on the SpagoBI shop. And of course, you have professional services that you can find, and you can ask us for a quotation and for the delivery and so on. They range from training to specific consulting, user support, and so on. So, of course, different levels of completeness and quality, ranging from the different prices, from the free tools to the professional services. Another question, where can I find the SpagoBI plugin to work in Eclipse? Okay, in the same forge where you download the SpagoBI server, you can download SpagoBI Studio and Meta, and you get the environment which already include Eclipse together with SpagoBI Studio and SpagoBI Meta. You can have Studio and Meta separated, but my suggestion is to download just one package which contains both Eclipse, Studio and Meta. Any link for the configuration of Active Directory and SpagoBI? Okay, there are some information in the wiki. If they are not updated, please advise us. We will try to do the best for updating them. In the book there is some explanation. And finally, if you have specific questions, don't hesitate to post them to the forum, or if you want to involve us in with a specific service, we will answer you. Yes, a SpagoBI book is not available for version 4, is another question. In fact, we are planning to deliver it by beginning of next year. We are working on it. It's an hard job, but we need to do it. So you can access today to the SpagoBI book, which is related to version 3, but many aspects are, of course, common to the two releases. If you want to wait for version 4, stay tuned for the beginning of next year. And of course, for anyone who already have the version 3 book, there will be a discount on buying the update to version 4. Question about roadmap, very interesting. We will deliver 4.1 in a few weeks, so during the month of October. It will include some new functionalities. Mainly, we will have more big data sources that you can access. And we have improvement in the parameterized data set and other components in the geographical tool and in the user interface again. Then we plan to deliver a minor release almost each 3 months. The main topic of the roadmap are publicly available in the SpagoBI website. And again, anyone can actively participate to the roadmap of SpagoBI. If you have some project that fit with the SpagoBI roadmap or for which you have to suggest new topics, we are open to discussion and to change priorities of our roadmap always taking the direction to the topics that we have defined. For translations, SpagoBI is open to support multi-language. Of course, the specific content for the specific language must be provided by, can be provided by anyone, any partner using SpagoBI in the specific country. So we welcome anyone who wants to provide with a translation of SpagoBI in other languages. We have already the support for Italian, English, French, and Spanish. Of course, any other specific translation is welcome, and we can collaborate, providing you with the resources to be translated, and you will be mentioned also as contributors of SpagoBI. Okay. So, if there is another question. What about using SpagoBI with WaveMakers Studio? Do you have live examples? No, unfortunately, I don't have example, and also have to check whether it is compliant with. So if there are no more questions, I thank you everybody for attending this webinar, and I invite you to contact us using the contact that you can find in this slide. So our website, spagobi.org, and our mailing list, spagobi@eng.it. Use it to post any question or request for information. You will be contacted. You will get the answer from the SpagoBI team. And follow us on the social networks, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.